It's April 17th, 2018, and time to call the meeting of the Whitehall City Council to order for the purpose of considering such matters that may come before it. I'm going to ask everyone to please stand for a moment of silence. Remain standing for the pledge and remove any hats if you are wearing one. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
Here. Here.
Present.
Mr. President, move to excuse the absent member.
Second. All right, I have a motion from Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Rodriguez to excuse the absent member. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The absent member has been excused. Next on our agenda, we have the approval of minutes for April 3rd, 2018, agenda and regular meeting.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of minutes of April 3rd, 2018, agenda and regular meeting minutes, please. Second.
Motion by Mr. Canner, second by Mr. Morrison for approval of the April 3rd, 2018, agenda and regular meeting minutes. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 All righty. Well, next on our agenda, we're going to welcome back the Ohio State University students with the Whitehall Sustainability Project, and they're going to have another presentation for us. So if you all, whoever wants to start off, I'd like everyone to state their name and address for the record.
Oh, sure. So, well, I'm up eventually then. I am Eric Roberts. Address is 1208 and 1/2 Summit Street, Columbus.
My name is Adam Poor, 161 West California Avenue, Columbus.
Nicholas Badman, 3630 Beulah Road, Columbus.
Ryan Thomas, 855 Sherville Drive, Columbus.
I'm Chad Gibson, 2535 Canterbury Road in Upper Arlington. I'm an instructor, and I just want to say thank you for allowing the time for these students to work with you. We hope you find their ideas practical and useful, and that they don't sit on the shelf or on the website, so to speak. So thank you very much.
Great. And so, again, we're with Ohio State University Masters of City and Regional Planning Program. So we are all master's students, and we've prepared this website for you. And we're hoping that this website itself is a sustainable project as we move forward. If you have a mobile device, the website is also optimized for those types of devices, so feel free to follow along as we move along the presentation. Let's see if this works. All right. So I just want to go over a brief overview of what we want to encompass with the idea of sustainability. I think sometimes there's an idea that it's maybe just environmental, or maybe it's just one sort of thing. And so what I want to get at the top of here is this is known as the planner's triangle. And at each corner of the triangle, you'll see equity and social justice, environmental protection, and economic development. And what I want to impose is that with this plan and with this website, we're trying to not just hit environmental protection as a lot of people think. We're trying to hit economic development. We're trying to hit equity and social justice, and recognize that there are limitations to different municipalities and for whatever projects people might want to have in their community. And so, again, we just wanted to try and encompass the variety of conflicts and opportunities that we have within the planner's triangle and how that represents sustainability. So, again, I mentioned last time that there are some other folks that are engaging in sustainability, and so this is the Sustainable 2050s community member list. Almost all of the local municipalities are represented on this list, including Whitehall. And I want to mention this just because Whitehall, of course, isn't alone in the sustainability effort. If you want to reach out to other communities and even look, and as we've referenced throughout our website, there are a lot of resources that you can use, a lot of can look to other places to see where some of these efforts have been done as well. And going in referencing the last slide a little bit too, MORPC regional sustainability agenda directly ties into the Sustainable 2050 municipalities that have become members. And so there are 5 main goals: reducing energy consumption, protecting natural resources, attracting and retaining economic opportunity, creating sustainable neighborhoods, and increasing regional collaboration. And all of these goals have various amounts of objectives that you can complete that get a lot more specific with very specific metrics and targets that you can see under the 2020 target. And what happens within the Sustainable 2050 framework is that they're assessed on a spreadsheet so that you can obtain a certain tiered status, from bronze to all the way up to platinum. And we'll just see on this next slide how those are ranked. And in our plan, Sustainable Whitehall, we have 19 goals 19 goals recommended, with all of the 19 objectives are recommended, and all the goals are represented, and that's just 5 goals. And that actually could lead to Whitehall potentially being gold status if they obtain all of the goals that we recommend in our plan. The one thing that was missing from what we have is that we didn't specifically recommend anything about presenting an advancement opportunity to the MORPC Regional Sustainability Summit. I'm not sure if that's something that Whitehall already does, but you do, so then excellent. Excellent. So then you guys would be eligible to be gold status if you were to obtain the goals that we have listed on our website.
Okay. We showed you the website last time, so we're not going to delve in that too deeply today. But I just wanted to remind you, what you're seeing here is the overview page. And the meat of the content that we provide is on the ideas page. And as you're going through the MORPC sustainability agenda or going through our ideas page, you'll notice that 2 things about sustainability. One is that it's very multifaceted. And 2 is that it's not something that any one person or any one entity can do alone. It requires the whole community. And that's one of the reasons we selected a website for you rather than a traditional document. Basically, what the website allows you to do is filter the content based on your role in the community, so government, private citizen, or businesses, and also by the topic that you're interested in. So that's one of the advantages that we hope you'll realize from the website. The only other thing I really wanted to mention about the front page here is that we've expanded the Around Town section, which, if you recall, is a map that shows some of the existing sustainability efforts that are happening in Whitehall. So our hope is that you'll take a look at that, and if you're not familiar with those activities, become more familiar, and ultimately expand that over time as additional projects are completed. Also, we know that you're working on developing a new comprehensive plan. And so we've provided this link to some curated sustainability plans that we hope that you'll be able to review those and get some ideas for how you might be able to incorporate these topics in your comprehensive plan. Okay, this is just the remainder of the front page. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we've spoken with the IT department, and we've come up with a plan for handing off this website to them. So the idea is I'll work with them over the summer, transfer over the content, both the technical aspects of it and the content management aspects of it. And to assist with that, we've provided this Sustainable Whitehall user guide, which explains exactly how to maintain the page from a technical standpoint and from a content management standpoint. The idea being, a website is never complete. You have the option of adding to it, adapting it. Hopefully you'll use it to solicit feedback from your residents and maybe incorporate some of their ideas as well. So I think that's all we have to say. We really appreciate your time tonight, and like I said, I hope if you have any feedback for us, we'd be happy to incorporate that. So, thank you so much.
like to say I definitely like the way that you incorporated MORPC's goals for sustainability into the plan. Thank you.
Sure. And actually, on the ideas page, if you happen to have the website up still, at the bottom of each section, each of those MORPC regional sustainability objectives are listed in a table and the rationale for each of them. So that might help if there's a certain goal that you might have missing that you want to reach. So that might just help you towards some of those objectives.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on now. It's our first opportunity for poll public. If anyone would like to come forward, you'll have up to 3 minutes to make a statement or air any issues or concerns. Just please state your name and address for the record.
Paul Sparks, 4019 Ural Avenue. I just want to say that I love the job that's going on with the public safety, the fire department, as we have learned in the last year or so, faces a lot more challenges than just fighting fires. And the stats that I read about the effectiveness of the Whitehall police are impressive, and whenever the firemen do something, they're heroes, and the policeman's job is thankless. And I just wanted to say thank you for the work they do.
Sure. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward at this time? Please state your name and address for the record, please.
It's Miller, 295 Laurel Lane, Pataskala, Ohio, 43062. I have about 20 minutes worth of stuff I want to say and about 3 minutes to say it, so I'm going to read. I'm appearing before council tonight to again state my opposition to the attempt by the city of Whitehall to confiscate the Woodcliff condominiums from their rightful owners. There are two specific parts of this that I want to talk about. One is the appraisal that you had done to determine the supposed value of our property. I wonder how each of you would feel if I hired an appraiser to come to your houses, evaluate your property based on just the value of the dirt your home is sitting on, and then how about if I force you in court to sell that property to me for half of what it's worth? Does that sound like a good plan? Even if you really don't want to sell it for its full value. But how about in the appraisal I had done, you find out that the appraiser did not even have the amount of acreage your property is sitting on correct. That is exactly what's being done to the Woodcliff owners. The appraiser that Whitehall hired certified this property is sitting on 27 acres when it is in fact sitting on 37 acres. This information has been provided to me by a person whose judgment I trust, and several people on our side of this case have looked at it and determined it to be valid. Do you not at least have the obligation before you vote on this offer you're making to Woodcliff owners to determine if the basis of your offer is at least correct? Do you not have that obligation at least? And then let's talk about this vote that is coming up. How in the United States of America do you think that you're going to rush through a vote among Woodcliff owners, half of whom likely will not even be aware of it, and then think that you're going to legally enforce the results of this vote? I don't care if we win or lose the vote. It is invalid. You cannot go into any neighborhood, anywhere, get together half the owners, or even more than half the owners, and take a vote as to whether they want to sell their properties and then enforce that vote against either the people who didn't vote or the people who voted no. It is a ridiculous idea that only people who are trying to circumvent the law would even think to propose. I can tell you this, regardless of the outcome of this vote, I will not sign anything transferring ownership of my legally owned property to the city of Whitehall. If you all want to develop it, then pay us a reasonable amount of money for it, and we'll happily sell it to you, I'm sure. I close with a remark remark that Gerald Dixon made here several weeks ago. You folks, do not work for the mayor. You do not work for Zach Woodruff. You work for the citizens and the taxpayers of this community. Do the right thing and abandon your attempt to take our property.
Is there anyone else who would like to come forward? Please state your name and address for the record.
John Barrett, 215 Rivers Edge Way, Gahanna. Hello, my name is John. I am the owner of 6062 North Hamilton. Over the last 7 years, the neighborhood, the Wycliffe neighborhood, has seen over $1 million worth of renovations. Many of the units are owned by or rented by great individuals and families who experienced massive hardships to be forced out of their homes, and in many cases receive considerably less compensation than what they put in or what they even owe on their loans. So much improvement has been done since the complex was deemed a nuisance, and there still is much work to do if the city decides to join the majority of the owners and be in the business of restoration instead of the business of destruction. In addition to the improving conditions, crime is considerably down in this neighborhood. According to the Columbus Police Report, there have been only 4 police reports in the last 3 months in the whole neighborhood, none of them involving violence. The improved conditions has brought better tenants and owners into the neighborhood. The community provides affordable housing to both owner-occupant and renters in a city that is becoming more desirable to live in. The government, no matter what level, should be in the business of protecting and preserving the rights of its people. With all the improvements that have been made to the community, is it still right to pursue demolition? To leave renters scrambling to find similarly affordable and quality residents? To leave homeowners underwater on their loan with their equity evaporated and their dreams of making a better life shattered? Is this proposed acquisition still the right thing to do? Is the city truly protecting and valuing the rights of its people, or is it valuing its own agenda while considering hundreds of residents to be disposable? I realize that this vote is probably just a formality and that the decision has already been made, but I do urge city council members to vote in a manner that considers the well-being of all the people they represent. Also, in terms of the appraisal, the building was appraised as a apartment building instead of individual parcels, which is highly inappropriate for the just for standard appraisals. So, thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to come forward at this time?
My name is John Freeman, 1178 Fountain Lane. I have to read this out loud in order to be clear in my mind. The first paragraph, whereas pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 163.2021, the city shall not appropriate real property except as necessary and for public use. Going down to where you start to date the areas, whereas July 12, 2007, City and Franklin County Public Health filed a complaint in Franklin Municipal Court Environmental Division, case number 2007, etc., concerning Woodcliff condos, seeking injunctive relief and nuisance abatement. Now, we know that this is 2018. We know that's 11 years ago. And I believe it's February 4th of 2008, they declared that the property was a public nuisance, and that the paragraph regarding the appraisal, I believe it's, I'm not going to try to go through here and find it, but the appraisal here in this document is dated this year or close to this year, and I need to know, in my mind, an appraisal should be house by house, in-depth appraisal, and I need to know if this appraisal was simply rubber stamped from an earlier appraisal, because the dates cited in here appear to be simply an updated date from earlier earlier documents that stated that the appraisal was done in like 2011 and so on. And if it's just a rubber stamp from something that happened 10 or 11 years ago, I think it has to be in question. And certainly in my mind and my properties, I paid last November I paid $52,500 for each one of mine, and 141 Woodcliff and 190 Woodcliff, and clearly it's inhabited now. People are happy in there. I had a home inspection done prior to the purchase by a home appraiser coming out of up a few miles north of here, near Mount Vernon. But he did not give me an appraised value. He gave me a status value on repairs that needed to be made in order to be negotiable. And there was nothing in his reports on either property that indicated big deficiencies. There were minor things that I was able to correct before I rented the properties. So if they were inhabitable and rented at the time of my purchase, it doesn't seem that what seems to be 10 cents on the dollar is what is intended to give me on that seems to be appropriate. I paid $105,000 cash in November of 2017 for my properties. And to say now that, well, people have talked about different numbers, we know. But to say now that, well, I'm only going to get $12,000 per property or whatever the figure is, it doesn't seem fair to me. And everybody else has a different story. Many people have been here for years with those properties. And but I have to speak from my own standpoint. How can something that I paid $105,000 for last November now be worth $25,000 in total? And I just don't see how that's possible. And that's all I have to say.
Who else would like to come forward at this time? All right, we'll move on to our standing committee reports, and we'll begin with Administration and Financial Management. Chairperson Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Administration and Financial Management did meet last Tuesday. We discussed a number of issues which will be introduced tonight. Our minutes are on file, and we will meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30 right here in the back.
Community and Elder Advocacy. Chairperson Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Community and Elder Advocacy did meet last Tuesday. We had no pending legislation or current legislation. We will meet again next Tuesday back at 6:30. Thank you.
Community Standards and Enforcement. Chairperson Rodriguez.
President, we met Community Standards and Enforcement met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday sometime after 6:30.
Economic Development. Chairperson Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. President. Economic Development also met last Tuesday. Our minutes are on file. We'll meet again next Tuesday back sometime after 6:30.
All right, thank you. Infrastructure Maintenance and Services. Chairperson Heck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Infrastructure Maintenance and Services met last Tuesday. We had no pending legislation. Our minutes are on file. We did discuss Broad Street Project and fixing that couple of curbs and sidewalks around Hamilton and Whitehall. So now move on to Administration.
All right, thank you. Next is Public Safety. That's Chairperson Coniston. She's unable to attend the meeting this evening due to some conflicts at work. That committee did meet last Tuesday. Their minutes are on file. They do have at least one piece of legislation coming up this evening before council. And that committee shall also meet next Tuesday sometime after 6:30. Next we have Parks and Recreation. Chairperson Canner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks and Recreation also met last week in the back. Our minutes are on file. And I have to drive, you can actually see some of the things we have going on right now. So the Whitehall Community Park, when you go by Norton Field,
reports. We'll move on to our officials' reports, and we'll begin with our mayor, Ms. Kim Magler.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. I would just like to give an update about code enforcement. We have an electric car for code enforcement now, and for the entire year we're going to be keeping in-depth stats on that to make sure that it is actually economical viable for our city. You will notice that we have two electric car hookups back here, and the reason we got two is because we feel very positive about this, and we may be able to use it in the future to get another one to save taxpayer dollars. For the past 2 days, we've been meeting with possible architects for the community park YMCA, and we've narrowed it down. We should be announcing an architect for that in order that we can get started on that very, very soon. Also, if you see some people on the roof of the firehouse, no, they're not trying to fall off. They're actually trying to fix 2 air conditioning units that are going out, and we'll be working on that for this to get it ready for the summer. Also, if you haven't heard, the IRS tax website went down today, cannot accept any money, so they are extending filing for federal taxes until tomorrow. So if you have not filed, you have an extra day. So that's maybe good news for some. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll hear from our city attorney, Mr. Michael Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council. Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. I would ask for favorable consideration on Resolution 21, 2018. Secondarily, I would also like to invite council as well as any members from the public. As you know, Whitehall Yearling High School has made a part of its curriculum our mock trial program, and they will be doing a mock trial here in Mayor's Court on May the 17th at 6 p.m. And if you come, we'll ask you to be a part of the jury, and you'll get to hear the case. The kids are working very hard on it. I was there today teaching the class. I intend on being there tomorrow. And then also to members of council, I would like to extend an open invitation because a part of their studies, they go down to the courthouse and they also go through the jail. So if any of you are interested in touring the jail with some of these students, please call Julie and she can get you on that calendar and get you on that schedule. And when I say they tour the jail, they go actually into the jail, all the way through it, right there inside of it. It's not something where they sit out in the lobby and just talk to a sheriff. They actually go through the whole tour. So you are welcome to join on that. Next, with respect to Mayor's Court, I was just informed by Stephanie Hightower, who is the CEO for the Columbus Urban League, that our little diversion program for our Mayor's Court will be featured with respect to the not the Columbus Urban League, but the National Urban League Convention, which will be here this summer. So people are talking about it. It might have something to do with our completion rate is above 86%, so it's working. And people are taking notice of Whitehall, and it's exciting. So if we get the opportunity to put our best foot forward at that national convention, that would be great. And then just speaking of nationally, I would be remiss before I end my closing, before I end any statements that I have, because I won't get the opportunity to do this once they do this publicly, but you all are invited to come to the special meeting as it relates to honoring my wife, Joy Bivens, who just resigned from the Whitehall School Board. It was a decision that she made as it relates to her responsibilities. I tell everyone, and I say this proudly, she is my Oprah, and I stand to just say that I am a proud representation of Stedman, even though I feel a little bit more honorable than Stedman because I put a ring on it. Yeah. So there we go. Nevertheless, she has really been a light for Whitehall Yearling High School and all of the schools in Whitehall. She is the love of my life. I am just so honored to call her my wife, and I can get very sentimental when I think about her. But her service to the school board, the ideas that she proffered, and the passion that she put forward, I really look forward to her doing the exact same thing on a national level, on a state level, and on a county level, and it can only mean good things coming to the city of Whitehall. So you all are invited to come out once Whitehall Yearling High School or Whitehall administration does the special meeting in her honor. So thank you. I don't know. I think they announced it on their website, a special meeting, but it will be a special meeting. Is it the 23rd or? Yeah, that's her last day, but I think they're doing a special meeting before that. But I should know that date. All I know is I'll be there. Yeah.
The mayor's trying to find it for us now. I have
Okay.
my calendar out to put it in.
All righty, thank you.
And
Next.
somebody please tell her that I did this. So.
Want her to tell us?
Yeah.
Got the date? Okay.
Right, but forgot the date. Thank you. That's Stedman. That's Stedman.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, next we'll hear from our city auditor, Mr. Dan Miller.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no official reports today other than what you have before you, and those are available to the public on the city website under the auditor's page. I would like to ask for favorable consideration. Ordinances 29, 30, 31, 33, and Resolution 20. Thank you.
Well, next we have our Director of Development and Public Service, Zach Woodruff. All right, thank you, sir. Next up is our Director of Public Safety, Mr. Van Greg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
All righty. That brings us to our Treasurer, Mr. Steve Quinzel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of council, I have no official report tonight, but I do want to say it was a tax day here in Whitehall as well, and I happened to spend a good bit of time this afternoon here in the building, and I want to commend Dan and all his staff. They were busy as bees out there. There was a line that they would cross borders, then move into the process, and I had a healthy deposit spent and it's all good. Thank you guys on that too. You know, so the president know that our website is not so great. That's the last day to file taxes.
All righty. Thank you. All right, well, the following officials' reports have been filed in the council office since our last meeting. We have the auditor's expense report for March 2018, the auditor's bank report for March 2018, the auditor's statement of cash position report for March 2018, along with the auditor's revenue report for March 2018. We've also received the Division of Fire overtime report for March 2018 and the mayor's report to council for March 2018. Under communications, petitions, and claims, we do have the minutes from the March 8, 2018 meeting of the Planning Commission, and we also have the agenda for the April 5th, 2018 meeting of the Planning Commission. Those are all the communications, petitions, and claims. We now will move on to our public hearing for the evening. And it is for Ordinance 28, 2018. It's amending the zoning map attached to Chapter 1122 of the 1970 Codified Ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, and as subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.10C36 to allow Lighthouse Behavioral Health to operate a medical facility that includes inpatient care services on property located at 4000 East Main Street, parcel number 090-0052-9000, owned by Ohio Nurses Association. I will open that public hearing at this time and will ask for any proponents of Ordinance 28, 2018 to please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Lisa Pertine. My address is 16941 Boston Road, Sunbury, Ohio.
Hi, I'm Alicia Reinhardt. My address is 2402 Spring Row Lane, Hilliard, Ohio.
Alicia and I are C-level officers with Lighthouse Behavioral Health. I'm the CEO and Alicia's our Chief Clinical Officer. And we wanted to give you just a brief and then any questions that you might have. First, thank you for having us. We're very excited to be a 32-bed residential inpatient, that is our anchor facility, our outpatient, which would be our Beacon facility, our recovery residence, which is our Harbor. All of our services are clinically managed. There is no detoxification, so it's all clinical. Alicia's team would run that. And all of our referrals will come from facilities, hospitals, other behavioral health agencies, courts, and self-referrals. We expect that by the end of this year, 6 months into operation, we'll add another 30 employees to us. Right now it's just Alicia and I. Some of our security features that we have, because we want to make sure that not only are our clients protected, but that the community is protected, we have a fenced-in area, we have outdoor lighting, we have security cameras both inside and out. It is our agency policy to not allow any of our residents to leave the facility unattended, nor is it allowable for them to be in the facility unattended. So we have 24/7 staff members who will be with them to monitor them. And then just a little bit about some of the community outreach that we would like to do once we're in the facility. We have NA and AA meetings that we want to open to the public because we think that's a good resource for those of our fellow residents who are in recovery. And then we really want to be involved in the local court system and the new drug court that will be coming along in the summer. And then we as an agency and the staff want to be involved in any kind of local charitable events if we can. And then I'll turn it over to Alicia to kind of give you a bigger overview of the clinical side.
Yeah, so as she said, I'm the Chief Clinical Officer, so my staff will be everyone that is directly servicing the clients that we will have there. So we'll be providing groups, we'll be providing individual counseling, we'll be providing case management services, and like she said, we'll have a 32-bed inpatient facility. Those clients that come into our facility for that program can be there up to 90 days. They can be there as little as 5 days. So again, that range will kind of depend on the type of services that they need and how long they'll need to
entry and exit points.
Due to safety issues, we can't lock them from the inside. They will be locked from the outside. But all those doors will have alarms on them, so if any of our clients decide that they want to leave at 3 in the morning, alarm will go off, so we'll be notified that someone.
Primarily, the entrance in the back parking lot is the way in and out of the building.
And that door will actually be locked after 5 p.m. as well, from the outside. So that'll be an open door all day, but we'll lock that from the outside as well.
Are all of these entrances and exits monitored by key card, and is there cameras?
Yes and yes.
Beyond just an alarm that if the crash bar is triggered.
They will be key card entrance, so you have to key card to get in. And the cameras, we have cameras both outside and inside, every place except the private places like the bathroom and their bedrooms. And we are able to monitor that not only from the building but remotely. So at any point, Alicia and I or any of our people that we have access to would be able to view what they're doing and where they are.
Am I correct in assuming I could report to the residents around there that the entire parking lot also would be under surveillance and monitored from the inside?
Several cameras the whole outside will be able to view all of the outside to make sure that, because again, it's not just residents. We want to make sure that nobody's pulling in, we want to protect the residents and the clients.
So will your system be capable of recording X amount of time, and after 3 months, if there's no event, you can delete it?
At least 90 days back, and we'll be able to go and review it, and pinpoint anything that we would need to, and be able to turn that over to anyone that we would need to if there was any kind of incident.
So then getting to the services you provide, in order to take advantage of your service, these patients are kind of fully vetted, and am I correct in assuming that they have not only a need, but they want to partake in your program? They're not ordered to by someone.
I would say probably about 20% would potentially be court ordered to come to our treatment facility, but around 80% will be there based on them wanting and needing to come to those services. So, and when I say court ordered, that probation officers may recommend that your guys' drug court that you're looking to open may recommend someone go to residential treatment for 30 days or whatever that ends up being. So, yeah, some of our clients will be there due to court order, but the majority of our clients will be there based on their own self-referral or need.
Other than technological security, is there any physical security, i.e. a person?
So I've worked at places that have had an actual security guard before, and I haven't ever found a need for that. I think clinically, if we're doing our job the appropriate way, we're not going to have those types of issues that are going to require security. Part of our process, when a client, say you call and you're saying, hey, I want to come to Lighthouse, we will do a phone screening before you even come to our location to kind of determine whether or not you're appropriate for us or not. Some of those questions are going to include whether or not you're a sex offender, if you have any history of like arson charges. Those people would be immediately ruled out because they would not be appropriate for our facility. If you then come and say, yeah, I don't have any of those issues, I'm doing heroin and I have depression, okay, come in. We'll have a clinician meet with that person for roughly 2 hours to do a full assessment, then to make sure that they are appropriate for us. So while that's not necessarily security, I think that it can be factored into that because we're determining whether or not these people are appropriate for us before we even bring them into our program. And then, like we were saying, we'll have the monitors there. But no.
So once an individual's accepted and they're going to stay there a period of time, are they receiving visitors throughout their stay?
So part of the curriculum that I've developed is that on Saturdays we'll have family day. So in order to see your family, they actually have to come for family education first. So the first hour of that will be us educating not only the client but their families, so significant others, parents, kids, whoever that is that decides to come that day. Limit 3. So it's not going to be all 20 of Billy Joe's cousins coming that day. You get 3 family members each Saturday.
like to welcome you to Whitehall. This is a service that is greatly needed, and I am very familiar with the type of services that you provide. I sit on the board with one of your potential referrals. So thank you. And first, and also I'd like to thank you for providing a family well-rounded, that you involve family, because when substance abuse or mental health impacts the person, it impacts the family and everybody in it, and even extended. So in looking at your curriculum of care and what you do to provide that holistic approach, I thought it was a really good program, and I'm looking forward to hearing some great things from you guys. So welcome to Whitehall. Yes, sir.
Bob, you really covered pretty much everything. I just think, you say you're not going to be fixing food there. You're just catering everything there, all three meals. You have two kitchens there, so that would just be the catering.
if I could you just, for the record, for the folks here tonight, could you talk about the licensing requirements that you all have for both the outpatient and the inpatient, and just the process by which you can obtain state license, and secondly to that, just kind of, we talked about at Planning Commission, the process to kind of get up and going, and what all, and who the licensing is through, and all those different, I think that's important for the record.
So we actually met with the nurses last Friday, and they're leasing back to us. They can lease back for up to 6 months. That was part of the agreement in purchasing the building. And what we've asked of them is that we be able to come in May 15th and start seeing clients June 1, and those, again, would just be outpatient clients. That would not be the residential clientele. For OMAS, who is our licensing committee, in order to get up and running as an outpatient facility, you actually have to practice for 2 months and see a total of 10 clients during that period of time. Apply for your license. I think they fumble it around for a couple months, and then they will come out and look at your client charts and your employee files. In order to get licensed for a residential facility, you actually have to apply first. They come out and they look at your building to make sure that it meets all of the standards that it's supposed to meet. So things like the sprinkler system that we're going to have to install. They look at a lot of our policy and procedure regarding safety, our service plan, things like that. They approve our building at that point in time. Then we have to practice for 2 months, see a total of 10 clients. They come back out in 60 days, review those client files and the employee files, and then make a determination at that point in time. So the process actually to get licensed through the state is pretty lengthy. And then the other piece that we are going to do, there's a board called CARF, and that is the National Accreditation Board. And so you have to be up and running for 6 months in order to apply for CARF accreditation, and that's a very, very lengthy process where they send out auditors, and they look at literally everything in your facility. And then if we get approved by that board, we get licensed with, or approved through them for 3 years, which is obviously like the top standard that we would be going for. So it's a very lengthy process, hence the reason why we're trying to get in and kind of get the ball rolling with the outpatient piece. Because again, we're still looking at 2 months after that before we can actually be licensed.
And a lot of the clients during that time will be providing free services, because in order for us to get a Medicaid license, we have to have our OMAS, which is the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, licensed. So we are going to accept private insurance, and we're working on paneling and credentialing our clinicians, but a majority, as unfortunate as a majority of our clientele will be Medicaid, so those first few months will be free services for them.
And then, Mr. President, again, just for you all to move in and fully operate the building will need to be obviously brought into Ohio Building Code, including but not limited to sprinklers being installed. That's all the points I wanted to make, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Who else would like to come forward to speak in favor of Ordinance 28, 2018?
Joe Ryan, 360 South Yearling Road, Whitehall, Ohio. I was actually in the White House, but now I'm here, so. I just wanted to make the point, if you recall recently, that per staff's change, council did vote to make any type of inpatient treatment facility go through the special permit process. So I think this first test case has worked great, and with this type of use, I'm glad it's given the public 2 opportunities to hear about the business and what they're doing, and also give Planning Commission and City Council the opportunity to ask these questions about this business and a facility that sometimes has a connotation to it. But I think it's been great, and it's worked really well so far to get it out in the open, to have all of these questions answered by the business. So I think that's worked great. I did evaluate this based on the zoning standpoint of it, and it is a medical office that we do have on Main Street and Broad Street. We have had inpatient services in the past, so that does work. And the parking works as well, and any type of traffic and trip generation is going to be quite similar to what the ONA building was there. So just in short summary, I'll let you ask any questions, but this does meet all of our zoning requirements, and staff is very pleased that this first go-around that with just because of our state and the opioid crisis that we are seeing, there would be more of these, and so I'm glad that council and staff are being proactive in changing this application process so the community, neighbors, businesses, residents can know what's going on. Because then that way I don't have to talk that much. So, all right. Thank you.
Who else would like to come forward and speak in favor of ordinance 28, 2018? One more time, is there anyone who would like to come forward and speak in favor of ordinance 28, 2018? All right, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to ordinance 28, 2018? One more time, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to ordinance 28, 2018? All right, I will close the public hearing on ordinance 28, 2018, and at this time I'm going to ask Ms. Frymark to call the roll on whether each member of council was given a copy of each item of legislation listed on the agenda prior to the meeting and including any add-on legislation.
Yes.
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 All right, so we will begin our ordinances and resolutions for the evening. We'll begin with third readings. First up, we have ordinance 28, 2018. It's amending the zoning map attached to Chapter 1122 of the 1970 Codified Ordinances of the City of Whitehall, Ohio, and as subsequently amended, allowing a special permit under 1123.10C36 to allow Lighthouse Behavioral Health to operate a medical facility that includes inpatient care services on property located at 4000 East Main Street, parcel number 09000529000, owned by Ohio Nurses Association.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 028-2018 and move for its adoption.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Ms. Elmore for introduction and adoption of ordinance 28, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
All right, ordinance 28, 2018 has been adopted. We'll move on. Our next item is ordinance 29, 2018. It's authorizing the creation of the Flexible Spending Fund. So many lines to this. Appropriating $141,000 from unappropriated monies in the Flexible Spending Fund to various accounts in the Flexible Spending Fund and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 29, 2018 and amend as read.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Morrison to amend ordinance 29, 2018 as read. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Ordinance 29, 2018 has been amended.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce ordinance 29, 2018 and move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and adoption of ordinance 29, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Ordinance 29, 2018 has been adopted. Resolution 15, 2018. It's a resolution to adopt a comprehensive development plan that describes the public need for the property known as Woodcliff condominiums and affirming the public need for the property as nuisance abatement and authorizing the mayor on behalf of City Council to make an offer to purchase 317 parcels from the Woodcliff Condominium Unit Owners Association.
Mr. President, move to table Resolution 15, 2018 until 9/1/2018.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Morrison, a second by Mr. Bailey to table Resolution 15, 2018 to the May 1st, 2018 meeting. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Resolution 15, 2018 has been tabled to May 1st, 2018. Those are all the items we have under third reading. Under second reading, we begin with Ordinance 30, 2018. It's approving and making a supplemental appropriation of $180,240.42 from the Etna Road OPWC Issue 2 Fund to the Etna Road Improvement Loan Account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Ordinance 30, 2018 and move for suspension of rules.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Heck for introduction and suspension of all rules for Ordinance 30, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 The rules have been suspended for Ordinance 30, 2018.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Ms. Heck for adoption of Ordinance 30, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Ordinance 30, 2018 has been adopted. Next, we have Ordinance 31, 2018. It's approving and making a supplemental appropriation of $3,164.28 from unappropriated monies in the WIMPITI Fund to various accounts in the WIMPITI Fund and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Ordinance 31, 2018, move for suspension of all rules.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Morrison for introduction and suspension of all rules on Ordinance 31, 2018. Questions or comments? Mark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Rules have been suspended on Ordinance 31, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Mr. Morrison for adoption of Ordinance 31, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Ordinance 31, 2018 has been adopted. Next, we have Ordinance 33, 2018. It's approving and making an appropriation transfer of $424,630.52 from the Etna Road Improvement Grant to the Etna Road Improvement Loan Account and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Ordinance 33, 2018, move for suspension of all rules.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, second by Ms. Heck for introduction and suspension of all rules on Ordinance 33, 2018. Ms. Frymark, questions or comments? I don't want to cut anybody off. I know you're all dying to say something about it. No? All right. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 The rules have been suspended on Ordinance 33, 2018.
Move to adopt.
I have a motion by Mr. Bailey, a second by Ms. Heck for adoption of Ordinance 33, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Ordinance 33, 2018 has been adopted. That's the last item we have under second readings. Under first reading, we have Ordinance 36, 2018. It's declaring the improvement to certain parcels in the city located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Hamilton Road and Broad Street to be a public purpose and exempt from taxation pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, Section 5709.40B, providing for the collection and deposit of service payments and specifying the purposes for which each of those service payments may be exempted, authorizing the school compensation payments and approving a tax increment financing agreement and a revenue sharing agreement. That ordinance is being read by title only. Next, we have ordinance 37, 2018. It's authorizing the execution and delivery of a community reinvestment area agreement between the city and Continental Real Estate Companies or its designee. That's being read by title only. Next is ordinance 38, 2018. It's allowing the mayor to enter into a contract with OHM Advisors for the purpose of developing a comprehensive economic development plan and declaring an emergency. That ordinance is also being read by title only. It's the last ordinance we have. We do have two resolutions this evening under first readings. First one is Resolution 20, 2018. It's resolving to approve then and now certificates and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Resolution 20, 2018. Move for suspension of rules.
Motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Heck for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 20, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The rules have been suspended on Resolution 20, 2018. Bob, apparently I cut you off on that. You had a comment.
Move to adopt.
Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Ms. Heck for adoption, fast thinking, on Resolution 20, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Resolution 20, 2018 has been adopted. Our next resolution is 21, 2018. It's Whitehall City Council's objection to the transfer of liquor permit number 2446102 held by Easy's Ltd. DBA JJ Easy's located at 3878 East Main Street, Whitehall, Ohio 43213 to MMKAP LLC DBA JJ Easy's permit number 5378094 and declaring an emergency.
Mr. President, I'd like to introduce Resolution 21, 2018 and move for the suspension of all rules.
Second.
Well, I have a motion by Mr. Rodriguez and a second by Mr. Cantor for introduction and suspension of all rules on Resolution 21, 2018. Questions or comments? Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Rules have been suspended on Resolution 21, 2018.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Cantor for adoption of Resolution 21, 2018. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Resolution 21, 2018 has been adopted. It's the last item of legislation we have this evening. It's our second opportunity for poll public. If anyone would like to come forward, please feel free to do so at that time. At this time, not that time. It is this time. All righty. No one is coming forward. We will move on to Community Date Board. Who has something for Community Date Board this evening? All righty. Who else has something for Community Day?
Janice, do you want to know? Yep.
not 4 to 8. Well, that's like lunch.
Right, that's what he's doing, about 2 or 2:30, like we always do.
And right after church.
Alrighty.
We'll go late and take some home for dinner.
There you go.
Okay, good.
You want to announce your golf outing as well?
I did mention Jim Cutler again. Yeah, he's kind of bad. We all know what charity that is, right? It is being held on June 15th at the Westchester Golf Club. It's $85 a golfer if you register by April 10th. It's a good time. They serve breakfast, lunch from Chick-fil-A, and dinner you get a 12-ounce strip steak. It's just a good time. Come out for a good cause.
All right, who else has something?
Thank you, James.
Everybody good? All right, we'll move on to full council. We'll begin with Ms. Elmore.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like to thank everybody for attending this evening. I would like to congratulate Zach for the 40 under 40 class of 218. Columbus Business First. Zach has done an amazing job for Whitehall, and I just wanted to publicly thank you for your great job. Also, I'd like to include in that all the great things that Whitehall is bringing, much needed services, the sustainability program, and also the lighthouse services, and hope we continue to do things that will benefit the citizens of Whitehall and its community. And that's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cannon.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, thank you all for coming. Thank you for your comments. Mr. Bivens, I know you're proud of your wife. She's a great lady. She can be very, very sad to miss from our school and our school board. Spent a lot of time with her, as I did with you, and she's going to be hard to replace. She's really going to be hard to replace. So that's all I have. I hope everybody has a nice evening. Hope we get some warm weather.
All righty, thank you. Ms. Heck.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. Thank you for your comments. Thank you to Dan's team that put a lot on social media about how you guys did a really good job and people filed their taxes here. And welcome Lighthouse, even though it's a little early, to Whitehall, and congratulations, Zach, as well.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also would like to congratulate Zach and Mr. Miller, and I'm sure the school board told you this, and Mr. Evans. You've done a great job. The Lighthouse for the community, and I'm glad that you both. Thank you.
Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank you all for coming. I would simply like to echo what my esteemed colleagues have all commented on. And besides, if I say anything, then Mr. Rodriguez wouldn't have anything to say. I'll give the rest of my time to Chris.
All righty. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's good seeing everyone here this evening. While we were meeting this evening, news bulletin came across. Former First Lady Barbara Bush passed away. Wonderful lady. That's all I have, Mr. President. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. We do appreciate you coming and stating your views. We have no other official business, so I think a motion for adjournment would be in order.
So moved.
So seconded.
All right, I have a motion by Mr. Bailey and a second by Mr. Rodriguez for adjournment. Ms. Frymark, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 All righty, we are adjourned, and we'll see you all at the next meeting.
0-0.
I told you you'd be able to see the puck drop at 8:30.
I gotta get something to eat.
Oh yeah, maybe get you a ticket to Massey's.
Hey, Paul. How's it going?
I'm not going to eat that tacos. All right, what am I got to do? I got to go back to settings, back to 2 minutes.
Yes. Okay.
the neighbors behind myself, but it sounds like they got that. I don't, Bob asked plenty of questions. Yeah, it sounds like they got that addressed and all that, so I'm okay with it.